Tax reform has become the white whale for Republicans. And with the party fractured on what moves to make and the White House seemingly reaching out to Democrats, can the GOP finally reel this beast in? Joining me now, the greatest reeler of all, perhaps it's Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massie, joining me once again on the Kennedy Daily Show. Welcome back, Congressman.
Hey, thank you, Kennedy. You know, the irony is that President Trump got a better deal, a more conservative deal with Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi than the Republicans were offering. The Republicans wanted to extend the debt limit for 18 months, and Chuck and Nancy offered 3 months, and he took it. So, ironically, he got a more conservative deal by working on the other side of the aisle. Now, here's something else you're not hearing in the news right now. That 3-month debt limit deal is actually 9 months because they filled up all the spare tanks, you know, those extraordinary measures, and the debt jumped over $300 billion the day that the Congress voted to suspend it again for 3 months. So that'll get them into next summer.
Wow. And that's exactly what I assume is the outcome. But let's talk about taxes a little bit. The president said that he did this deal in order to clear the decks for tax reform. There seems to be so much strife within your party, and we're having flashbacks. It's almost Groundhog Day with health care, that there are factions of your party who are on the right page, who have the right philosophy, but they're the ones who are getting strong-armed and sidelined by the rest of the party who want to deliver the president a win. How can we deliver the country a win?
Well, it is Groundhog Day, but the president's doing things differently now. When he first got here, he took whatever bill Congress had for the health care bill, and they said, trust us, we've been working on this, we're the experts. And what he found out is they sold him a bill of goods. It was Obamacare Light. And to his credit, this time he's had his own tax reform plan, while the House leadership here has gone in a different direction with their tax reform plan. Unfortunately, we've wasted over 9 months now being on two different pages. We have been promised, as of this morning, that in the next 2 weeks we're going to be given a one-pager that will describe the consensus that has been reached between the White House and the Senate. I'm assuming those are Senate Republicans, and the House. So, you know, we're...
And is this something from the Big Six? Because, we have not heard a lot of detail. Obviously, a one-pager isn't going to give us a lot of detail. But what are you hoping to gather from that amalgamation?
Well, I'm hoping they'll drop some of the more controversial provisions in the House tax reform bill, not the least of which was the border adjustment tax. Yeah, sounds like something's falling down here at the Capitol. And then I'm also hoping there'll be a real tax cut in there. Now, I think you need to cut spending when you cut taxes, so it'll be revenue neutral.
Congressman, on this show, you have said that we don't need to focus necessarily on revenue neutrality, but deficit neutrality. And it seems as though there is bipartisan allergy to cutting spending. But that is so critical in order to get the economy going, because you cannot have all the things that both parties and the White House have promised and have relief for victims of hurricanes Harvey and Irma and assume that the economy will grow if you are going to cut taxes. How on earth do you do it?
Well, look, you've got to cut taxes if you're going to stimulate the economy. Obama tried everything else. He tried spending more money. He did not try reducing regulations, which we have tried, and that's starting to work. But you got to cut taxes. Now, the only responsible way to do that is to cut spending as well.
Yes.
I think you could cut the spending in Afghanistan. Look, there's $43 billion of spending scheduled before Trump announced his expansion in Afghanistan. Think of the stimulus that you could provide with that. But better yet, think of what you could do to cut taxes if you cut $43 billion of spending there. And that's just the tip of the iceberg of the sort of things that you could do.
Absolutely right. You have proposed getting rid of the Department of Education altogether. I'm wondering if we made some of those bold moves, if people in positions of power like yourself were brave enough to actually follow through on some of that chatter, if we could have meaningful economic growth.
Bold and House leadership are almost oxymorons to put in the same sentence.
I know, it's so sad.
It's so timid here. We do need to be bold. We're not going to get anything done, and we're going to get blamed for anything bad that happens if we're not bold. So we need bold tax reform. But frankly, Kennedy, I will vote for any tax reform that cuts taxes, literally, just about anything.
Yeah.
And we need to simplify it because, as you've pointed out on your show, revenue neutral means if you lower half the people's taxes, the other half of the people's taxes are going to go up.
That's right.
That's what the swamp wants. Donald Trump is not from the swamp, and he had the good sense to come up with his own tax reform plan. So I'm hoping that our tax reform bill, when we get this consensus document or whatever we're supposed to get in a week or two, looks more like Donald Trump's plan than it does the House plan.
All right. Thank you very much, Congressman Massie. Appreciate it.